Alright, so now we're going to compare and order fractions. So let's start with some fractions. Let's say we have 3/8 and 2/3. So in order to compare, all you need to do is to cross multiply. So you're going to think of a multiplication sign. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 is 9, and then 8 times 2 is 16. Well, 16 is greater than 9, so that makes 2/3 greater than 3/8. Let's do another one. Let's say we have 7/15 compared to let's go with 4/9. So again, we're going to cross multiply. 15 times 9, or 15 times 4, sorry, is 60. 9 times 7 is 63. 63 is greater than 60, so that makes 7/15 greater than 4/9. So now I have 5/8 and 25/40, and sometimes the multiplication isn't as simple. So 8 times 25 and 5 times 40, yeah, I can do those. They're not too hard. But I can also take that 25/40 and I can reduce it. It ends in 5 and 0, the two numbers, so I can divide both of those by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So I get something that's equal. 5/8 equals 5/8, so those two are equal. If I did want to multiply those, show you multiplying. 5 times 40, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20. And then 8 times 25, I think of 8 quarters. If I had 8 quarters, that would be $2, which would be 200 pennies. So it equals 200. And so they're still equal. Alright, so now I'm going to order these from least to greatest. Make sure when you're doing these, you're always paying attention if it's asking least to greatest or greatest to least. So here I'm going to ask least to greatest. So anytime I'm doing this, I look at my fractions and I see which ones are greater than a half and which ones are less than a half. So 3/8, half of 8 would be 4, so that's less than. I'll just put a L for less than, and I'll put a G for greater than. 3/5, well, half of 5 is 2.5, so that's greater than a half. 4/7, that half of 7 would be 3.5, so that's greater. And then 1/3, half of 3 is 1.5, so that's less. So the reason I do that is so I don't have to compare every single fraction here and find all common denominators between 8, 5, 7, and 3. That's a lot of work, and if I don't have to do that work, then I'm saving myself some time. So all I need to do is compare 3/8 and 1/3. So 8 times 1 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9, so 3/8 is greater. So that means when we're ordering this, 1/3 is going to come first, and then 3/8. Now I just need to compare my 3/5 and 4/7. So I got 3/5 and 4/7. Cross multiply, 5 times 4 is 20, 3 times 7 is 21. So that makes 3/5 greater than 4/7. So going least to greatest, 4/7 is less, and then 3/5 is the greatest number I have. Alright, I'm going to do one more, and this time it's asking for greatest to least. So I look at those numbers I have, 2/3, 5/9, 7/8, and 1/2. So looking at those, I only have one number that is half or less, which is the 1/2. So that's going to be my least value. So I know that one's going to be last because I'm going greatest to least. So now I look at the 2/3, the 5/9, and the 7/8. So when doing this, I can easily convert the 2/3 into ninths. I just multiply that by 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, so that'd be 6 ninths. So 6 ninths is greater than 5 ninths. And then I just need to look at that 7 eighths. So I'm going to compare the 2/3 and the 7 eighths first. Pull that over here, 2/3 and 7 eighths. 3 times 7 is 21. 8 times 2 is 16. So that makes 7 eighths greater than 2/3. And I already know 2/3 is greater than 5 ninths. So that makes 7 eighths my greatest number. So 7 eighths is my greatest number. And then 2/3. And then 5 ninths. So going from greatest to least, I have 7 eighths, 2/3, 5 ninths, and then 1/2.